Chapter 177. Big Brother, how can you do this to me? Translator, Sky Pharaoh Editor. Sky Pharaoh. Living steel goo is a rank 2 goo, looking like a charcoal briquette, fist-sized and black all over. On the surface, there were numerous holes. Fang Yuan injected his primeval essence, and this living steel goo started floating, rotating on its own, black smoke pouring out from the holes on it. Chainsaw golden centipede coiled around Fang Yuan's leg, its dark gold-colored armor full of injuries. The 2 rows of razors on its sides tattered and damaged. But when the steel smoke came over and covered these wounds, they gradually healed. The black, smoky steel essence continued to be used, as the 2 rows of razors on the chainsaw golden centipede could be seen growing at an observable rate. Healing goo varied in a few types. There were some that healed goo masters, some that specialized in certain injuries, and those that healed goo worms. To the chainsaw golden centipede, the living steel goo is its healing goo worm. An hour later, the living steel goo became smaller and smaller. It went from a fist-sized charcoal to a pearl size, eventually vanishing. It was an expenditure-type goo, but its sacrifice brought about the recovery of the chainsaw golden centipede. At this point, the chainsaw golden centipede was good as new. Its 2 rows of razors were shiny as new, glowing with a sharp and cold flash. On its dark gold exoskeleton, the injuries were mostly healed, and only 5 to 6 light scars remained. But this was nothing to worry about. In about a few weeks, these scars would vanish through the natural recovery of the centipede. However, if not for the living steel goo, and just relying solely on the chainsaw golden centipede, it would take at least half a year for the razors to fully grow back. The chainsaw golden centipede was more strong than it was flexible. Although it used little primeval essence and had great attacking power, its weakness was a lack in the healing aspect. All living beings are equal. In this world, there is no all-rounded goo. There has to be weakness and advantages. Even rank 6 or 7 goo and above followed this natural law. This way, the chainsaw golden centipede's battle strength is completely recovered. Fang Yuan stretched out his hand, touching the cold exoskeleton of the chainsaw golden centipede, his face slightly pale. On his pale face, cold sweat was forming. Damn it, it had to come at this time. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth, his left hand subconsciously pressing his stomach. His mind entered his aperture, only to see that the white-silver primeval sea was still. The entire aperture filled with an oppressed feeling. All the other goo had been suppressed to one side. Only above the sea within the aperture, the spring-autumn cicada was glowing with a yellow and green luster. At this time, the spring-autumn cicada not only had both wings recovered, but its main body also recovered much of its energy. Just like an object falling from the sky, the closer it gets to the ground, the faster it falls, and the spring-autumn cicada's recovery rate was the same. After the initial difficult period, as time passed, its recovery speed accelerated. Thus, the problem came. The spring-autumn cicada was rank 6, while Fang Yuan was only a rank 3 goo master. His aperture was gradually unable to hold the spring-autumn cicada. Back then, when the spring-autumn cicada was weak, the burden on the aperture was not as huge. But now that the spring-autumn cicada gradually recovered, regaining its rank 6 ability, it caused this tiny temple of Fang Yuan's to be unable to hold this high god. If this goes on, I might even die from the spring-autumn cicada before the Tai family father and daughter find out the truth. Truly, when your roof has a hole, it just has to rain non-stop for days. The best solution was to raise his own cultivation level. When he gets to rank 6, the aperture will have the capacity to store the spring-autumn cicada again. But this method takes too long. In his previous 500 years of life, he also used more than 400 years to attain rank 6. He was now a C-grade talent with rank 3 cultivation. To cultivate to rank 6, he had a severe lack of time. Other than that, there was another way to solve the problem. It was to take the spring-autumn cicada out of his aperture and raise it outside his body. But that act had great disadvantages. Firstly, the spring-autumn cicada was not a battle-type goo, so it could not protect itself. Keeping it in the aperture was safer. Secondly, when a rank 6 goo appears, it would interfere with natural laws and cause a mirage at the location it is at. Fang Yuan was now at the village where there were many people, and the Tai family father and daughter was onto him as well. Once this spring-autumn cicada leaves his body, everyone would find out. Therefore, he could only feel troubled. The spring-autumn cicada's recovery is getting faster. At this rate, I don't have much time. Once I get the 40,000 primeval stones from Guyue Mochen, I'll take the heavenly essence treasure lotus and leave this place. As for the Tai family father and daughter, I can resolve it at a later time. Fang Yuan sighed. Tai family father and daughter's matter was something that he could only put off and delay. But now the spring-autumn cicada was not giving him time to stall. He was at his wit's end. As time urged him, wasting every minute and second is reducing his lifespan. A goo master being killed by their own goo worm was not uncommon. Many goo masters who forcefully activate their goo get a backlash from their goo worm's power and lose their life. Such incidents were everywhere. Gu Yue Qing Shu was the prime example, buried not far away. 6 purple gold stones, each fist-sized. With Fang Yuan's cultivation, he actually opened 5 on the spot. How could he have so much primeval essence at that time? Ti Ruonan stared at the information on the letter, laughing smugly. Tai Shuileng nodded. You finally found this suspicious point. Indeed, only when you are meticulous can you discover what normal people cannot see. But what can you derive from this suspicious point? Tai Ruonan closed her eyes, activating the intuition goo secretly. In the darkness, she felt an enlightenment in her mind, and she opened her eyes abruptly. Instinct tells me Fang Yuan must have had the liquor worm from long ago. But instincts are sometimes wrong. They cannot represent truth, Tishraleng reminded. Isn't it easy to get evidence? Hey, as long as he has the liquor worm, he has to feed it. If he feeds it, there has to be evidence. Tirunan's mouth curled into an arc. Let's go. We'll find Gu Yue Fang Zheng, Fang Yuan's brother once again. As the little brother, he has to be the most familiar with Fang Yuan. You're asking about Big Brother's actions back then? Fang Zheng showed a complicated expression. He sighed, recalling. Back then, Big Brother was a very outstanding individual. Since young, he constantly displayed his talent, making many poems, causing the entire village to put their attention on him. Back then, I admired him and held him in awe. In my heart, he was like a tall mountain that I couldn't climb. Maybe because he was at such a high point, when he tumbled down, the despair was greater. Afterwards, during the awakening ceremony, he was tested to have only C-grade talent. Thus, he became discouraged for a long time, sleeping in class and not returning to the hostel at night, buying wine and getting drunk all the time. From that moment on, I realized Big Brother was also human. Wait, you said, buy wine? Tiruanan heard this crucial phrase and caught on to it, squinting. Yes, for a period of time he was dead drunk. Sigh, maybe reality was too harsh. He only had C-grade talent, but his brother turned out to be a grade, and he could not accept the truth. Actually, if I was in his shoes, I would understand his feelings and emotions as well, Fang Zheng said. Wait, let me ask you. From that moment on, Fang Yuan would buy wine to drink every few days? Tai Ruonan asked again. Yes, from that moment on, brother fell in love with alcohol, spending a lot of money for wine. For a time, he was in love with the bamboo wine, which is our clan's speciality, a very expensive wine. He snatched primeval stones from his classmates in order to buy wine to drink. This is an overbearing act, thus not a single student liked him. Why? Is there a problem? Finally, Fang Zheng asked in confusion. There's a huge problem. I suspect that your brother's liquor worm wasn't obtained from the gambling rocks, but he had it long ago. Your brother's drunkard act was merely a performance. His real motive was to conceal the fact that he had the liquor worm and was feeding it, Te Ruonan replied solemnly. What? Fang Zheng, hearing so, jumped from his seat in shock. This was shocking information. What you just said made me even more suspicious. Where did your brother buy wine normally? I need to investigate. Ti Ruonan stood up as well. She was racing against time, moving quickly to solve the case. In our entire village, there is only one place selling bamboo wine. It is that soul in. Then I'll take my leave. Tirunen turned around and left. Wait, I'll go with your guys. Fang Zheng hesitated, chasing after them. An hour later, Tairuonan walked on the stone pavement, concluding, earlier the innkeeper already told me everything, and the situation is clear as day. Fang Yuan buying so much wine, his true motive is to feed the liquor worm. After that, he purposely went to Gamble Rocks, and that is to expose the liquor worm logically in front of everyone. All this is according to his plans. On one side, Fang Zheng appeared a little distraught, his face looking a little lifeless. He did not expect that the truth was really like this. Long ago, he had once looked down on Fang Yuan, thinking he was a loser, giving up on himself. From that moment on, he felt that the tall mountain was no longer so hard to scale. But the truth was, everything was Fang Yuan's disguise, his performance, his scheme. The surrounding people were played by him like fools, believing his lies. Even he, Guyo Fang Zheng, was no exception. Looking at it now, his disdain and despise towards his big brother back then was like a giant mockery of a joke. Big brother, in your heart, what place do I hold? In those eyes of yours that pretended to be drunk, was I a huge joke? Big brother, you are such a scheming fox in your heart. Was I childish enough for you to sneer at? Fang Zheng screamed in his heart. He was humiliated. He was furious. He felt that he was played by Fang Yuan. From the start, he was a clown putting on a childish and laughable act. He felt the disdain Fang Yuan felt towards him. Big brother, how can you treat me like this? If not for Lady Tai, I would still be in the dark. How long do you intend to lie to me and to the clan? You killed the innocent, taking lives as you wish. Deception and lies, indifferent and inhumane, is that the real you?